Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, it's another gorgeous evening. And a big crowd expected. Game number 2 between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. Another very important game when you talk about the Central Division, also the wild card race. The Cardinals 4.5 in front of Pittsburgh in the wild card, and a game and a half back of Milwaukee in the tight NL Central Division. And along with Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. Important for both these teams this game tonight, but maybe a little bit more so for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the numbers getting bigger for Pittsburgh in terms of their games out in the Central and in the wild card. This is a team that struggled a bit in the last couple of weeks. They have McCutchen back. They have their guy that's really their bellwether pitcher in Garrett Cole going here in Game 2.
And a guy that has to face Garrett Cole. He's been sensational here in the month of August. One of the heroes from last night, John Jay.
And I love the versatility of John Jay. He's been playing all 3 outfield positions. He hits up and down the lineup. He hits left-handers. He hits right-handers. He's also been very good in close and late situations, whether it's getting hit by a pitch or getting a pinch hit. Either way, John Jay has been terrific.
So John Jay and the Cardinals looking to make it 2 in a row over the Pittsburgh Pirates here tonight. Lance Lynn will get the call for St. Louis. It's Garrett Cole for the Pirates. It's a pair of hard-throwing righties. Pittsburgh, St. Louis, next on Fox Sports Midwest.
Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Come in and visit Mid-American Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Fans still making their way across the Clemente Bridge And welcome inside PNC Park in Pittsburgh. This is one of the best settings in all of baseball. And tonight they'll send Garrett Cole to the mound to try to shut down this Cardinals offense. A look at the skyline of downtown Pittsburgh. The ballpark being the central figure for revitalization of this downtown area. Shane Robinson was placed on the 15-day disabled list with a left shoulder injury. A slight separation is what the Cardinals are calling it. Randall Grichuk then called back up from Memphis. We know he's got power. Hit to 260 down at AAA, and he'll come off the bench tonight. Cardinals lineup. It's Matt Carpenter, followed by Colton Wong, Matt Holliday, then Matt Adams. The shortstop, Johnny Peralta, 4 for 11 with a home run and an RBI in his last 11 plate appearances. Then John Jay, A.J. Pierzynski, Oscar Taveras batting .233, and the pitcher Lance Lynn at .044. Lynn has been outstanding in the month of August, and Garrett Cole, a lot riding on his young shoulders beginning here tonight.
Well, you can't emphasize how important this start is. You can't emphasize it enough. Garrett Cole is one of the guys that they're going to rely on in the month of September. He was so good a year ago. He's pitched well against the Cardinals, Dan. 2 career starts during the regular season, 1.93 ERA. Also, October experience against the Cardinals.
Let's take a look at the defense for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And around the horn is presented by Dobbs. Great speed, as we noted last night, in their outfield. Essentially, 3 center fielders out there. In Marte, in left, McCutchen, the everyday center fielder. Travis Snyder can play all 3 spots. Josh Harrison is at third. Clint Barmas just off the disabled list. He's at short. Neil Walker at second. Pedro Alvarez at first. And Russell Martin is behind the plate. The Pirates defense is brought to you by Dobbs. And one of your very good friends manning the ship, so to speak, for the Buccos, and that's Clint Hurdle.
He's done a great job with this organization, with this franchise. He's really turned it around. Big crowds here in Pittsburgh. He got questioned quite a bit last night for his decision to take out the starting pitcher Francisco Liriano. In his comment, my job is to take pitchers out before they give up big innings and a lot of runs, and he just felt he was going south.
And the first pitch at 96 miles an hour, taken for a ball outside by Matt Carpenter, who's hitting .282, 7 home runs, and he's driven in 50 from the leadoff spot. Liriano was coming off a very poor start prior to last night, and in talking with folks down on the field today from the Pirates side, they said that's the best he's looked in the last 2 months. That plays a part in the answer that Clint Hurdle gave the media, which is why he took him out.
And we talked about the fact that sometimes you just take somebody out while the getting is good. Exactly. He had a lead at the moment, and he was not going to pick up a loss, leaving 1 runner on base. And, you know, he still can build on that. Just 4 hits in 6 innings, and that's going to be certainly a plus for the Pirates. But this guy, to me, is even more important. He's kind of a guy that could be a big game pitcher. He's a horse. He throws hard, 96 with his fastball, and they're going to need Garrett Cole.
2-2 the count. On the flip side of game 1, John Lackey was sensational. Had some hard hit balls against him, but that's baseball, and it went the Cardinals' way.
It was a fun game to watch too, Dan. Everything about game 1 of this series to me was fun. The Cardinals came out on top. Could have gone either way, all the way down to the last pitch of the game.
Justin Masterson there on the right, John Lackey on the left. Big start coming up for Justin. There's no doubt about that. Count runs full on the first man that Cole sees. Carpenter lines it to short. Here's Colton Wong with 1 out, nobody on. Wong this season is hitting .248, 9 home runs. He's driven in 33.
Colton's had a good road trip. He's 6 for 14, Philadelphia and here. And you look at his batting average at .248, and it just seems to me that he's hit better than that. You think about some of the big hits he's had and some of the good at-bats, and yeah, he has had some bad streaks, especially early on. think he must have just dug himself such a big hole early on. It's tough to get back up over 250.
Remember, for quite some time, he was around 215, 220 in the beginning of the season, then sent back down to the minor leagues. Then he went on the disabled list. So it's been a while for him to get that average back up. He chases a pitch up in the zone at 96, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Another indication there just how fast you have to gear up to hit Garrett Cole. That was by him.
Wong jammed left center. McCutchen 2 down. You talk to the Cardinal hitters, they mentioned this last year in postseason play facing Garrett Cole as you get a look at Matt Holliday. But they talk about a very compact delivery, but how the ball just really more so, and you hear this term all the time, how it explodes out of his hand. They say with him it's on you in a hurry.
And at 96 it's already on you in a hurry, but if you're hiding it well and it's got a little hop to it, even better. Just 23 years of age, bright future for Garrett Cole, and another late swing.
Our director tonight, Tom Mee, showing us that Cole works directly from the middle of the rubber. We see guys work from one side to the other, some in the middle. Does it really make that much difference?
It really doesn't. To me, it's just a comfort level for the pitcher. Often you'll see sinker ballers go to the kind of their glove side so they can work more of the plate across, and you'll see guys that like to throw sliders work on their arm side of the rubber so they can come at a more severe angle with their slider. But you know, Cole's just 96 here, hit it, so you might as well be straight on in the middle of the rubber.
One ball and 2 strikes. Big Cardinal fan, Colton Jarvis, before he heads to bed tonight at St. John's Hospital in St. Louis. Want to make sure that we get some well wishes to Colton Jarvis, who doesn't miss a game. He's at St. John's and resting comfortably, and one of my good little friends. So get better, and we'll see you at the ballpark soon. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on. Big gap in left center for Holliday, and he waves at him. Breaking pitch, strikes out. Missed that by 2 feet. Baseball. Well, the day game tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest. The lineup that Lance Lynn will face: Josh Harrison, Travis Snyder, and Andrew McCutchen. Neil Walker, Russell Martin, and Pedro Alvarez. Then Starling Marte, Clint Farmas, and Garrett Cole. You want Lance Lynn? Here he comes.
trying to win game number 15 here tonight in Pittsburgh. 2.78 ERA are key in numbers. He's 7th in the league with that earned run average. And Lance Lynn, other than maybe Pat Neshek, the most improved Cardinal pitcher in my mind, because he has really gotten over a hump. He doesn't have bad innings. He throws more strikes. He's right to the plate. He's been an outstanding competitor. And when Lance Lynn takes the mound this year, I would say every time out you expect him to win, and that means a lot.
That hump being the second half, the month of August. Harrison, high fly ball, lifted out to deep left. Holiday back with room. One pitch, one out.
He just missed that.
Harrison started the game for the Pirates with a base hit last night off a Lackey, and 3 hard hit balls in his plate appearances. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. Holiday, Jay, and Tavares in the outfield. It's Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Adams along the infield. A.J. Pierzynski is behind the plate. Lance Lynn on the mound. And again, that's presented by Dobbs. Travis Snyder hitting .264, 10 home runs. He's driven at 32. Lance Lynn doesn't really fool around either. It's a lot of fastballs in his arsenal.
And I think he's working more quickly this year. The fastballs come in about 70% of the time, a little over 70% for Lance Lynn. And again, not much trickery. He does throw a curveball that when it's sharp, he'll use it a lot. And he works from the first base side of the rubber. In fact, just barely in contact with the rubber.
How about when you were pitching? Where did you set up?
I actually had my heel as a left-hander where Lance Lynn's toe is.
That's way out there.
So most of my foot was not in front of the rubber, which I found out about 10 years after I was done isn't legal. So I guess I should start over again.
Your pay scale would improve.
McCutchen, by the way, interesting night for him. Home run late made it a 1-run game. And it's very interesting in the ninth. But that was a bit of a payback for this error that he made that allowed the Cardinals to score an extra run. He booted it, then threw it to third. John Jay was able to advance to second behind him. And then Holiday drove in both of those guys. So McCutchen very much a part of the scoring here last night in game 1.
And he looks at strike 1. 2 fly ball outs to start the game for Lynn. McCutchen is hitting .309. 20 home runs, and he's driven in 70. Outfield is deep and straight away. That pitch inside. The mannerisms of Lance Lynn really improved as the course of this season has gone along as well.
Really been no secret in terms of the Cardinal personnel just how much trouble he would have when things went bad, and you could really see it. You could see it in his mound presence, and you know, he had to have some coaching on that. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's emotions that just need to be channeled more effectively, and I think that's what Derek Lilliquist and the Cardinal staff have done to help Lance Lynn get better. And maybe even some of the other veteran pitchers have had some words of wisdom that have finally kind of sunk in with him.
Interesting that Lynn is going inside on McCutchen, which is part of the game. And McCutchen was hit by a pitch, you may recall, by Arizona that sent him to the disabled list. The 2-2. A high fly ball lifted out to right. Tavares, plenty of room. 3 fly ball outs. Good start for Lynn. We head to the second. No score from PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
For the second, let's say hello to Jim Hayes. And Jim, some bad news on Shane Robinson and late injury in the game last night.
Yeah, Shane Robinson on the DL today after injuring his left shoulder, sliding into second base last night. Shane said that the shoulder popped when he went down on the elbow while sliding. The Cards are calling it a partial dislocation, same shoulder he dislocated back in 2010. Mike Matheny says doctors are still examining Shane to see how extensive the damage is. And Dan, Shane is such a tough guy. You knew he was in pain last night when he stayed out at second base. Here's hoping he's going to be okay.
The question is, can he return before this season is through?
Well, doctors are looking at him, Dan, and I know the Cardinals are optimistic. There's a chance, but we'll wait and see what the doctors say.
Here's Matt Adams, 13 home runs he's hit. And Jim, how about Randal Grichuk? You hate to see a guy get hurt, and that's the reason why a player comes up. But this is the game of baseball, and that's what's happened with Randal Grichuk.
Well, it's an opportunity for him to join the big club when they're playing crunch time games, and he's hoping, since this is his third stint, he'll be more at ease this time around. Hit just 136 over his first 2 appearances with the club. He says, 1, big league pitching is better. 2, you're not getting regular at bats, and 3, you've got serious jitters. That's a lot to overcome. Mike Matheny told me, quote, we haven't seen Grichuk dialed in, but Mike says Grichuk's 25 homers in Memphis show he can hit, and he thinks Grichuk can be a real power threat off the bench, Dan. A.J.
Pierzynski is in the starting lineup tonight, and apparently you asked him a question on the pregame show yesterday he had never heard, and he's heard just about everything in this game.
Well, since he's a national broadcaster as well as being a Major League Baseball player, I said, look, I'm just a regional cable guy. What should I ask A.J.? What would you ask yourself? And he was at a loss for a minute, and he told me, with everything he's been through and all the stories out there, he feels he's been asked everything he could possibly be asked about himself, and that there's absolutely nothing left.
Good stuff, Jimmy. Thanks.
Well, I already put him behind Jim Hayes because Jim Hayes would never, ever be at a loss. Think about that. Ever.
No. Very quick, funny guy.
Does a great job. And by the way, more on Shane Robinson. Mike Matheny was talking to Jim and I about it. You know, he had to kneel down after he hurt that shoulder because he was actually dizzy. The pain was so much at second base. And you just think about that. And we thought it was odd, Dan, that, you know, he slid in, he was out, and yet he stayed on the field for a long time. I think the pain was just, and again, he is a very tough guy, was so much that he actually felt a bit dizzy. And you know, we certainly wish Shane the best.
0-2 the count on Johnny Peralta. Taken high. Garrett Cole 4 up and 4 down, 2 strikeouts. It's the left shoulder, and it looks to be just a fairly innocent play.
There's the left arm dragging. He grabs the elbow. At first we thought he may have hurt his elbow, but it really is, again, to protect his shoulder. They got knocked out.
By no means are we doctors, but those can be nagging injuries where it gets very loose in the shoulder. They pop out a lot. And just a simple, easy play like a slide, as we saw last night, pop that back out. Check swing. Andy White strikeout of Peralta, 3 in a row for Garrett Cole.
Well, the Cardinals are going to need help from their bench. There's no question about it. One more look at that swing. Does he go? I believe he does. Make an attempt at that pitch. But Randal Grichuk, one of those guys now that you throw in the mix, back in the mix again. And Matheny was also talking about Grichuk and said that 25 home runs at Memphis is not the same as 25 home runs at some other AAA ballparks. Memphis, a very fair park. So those are numbers that get your attention a little bit.
Met a Cardinal fan from Memphis who is also a Memphis Redbirds fan, and he said since the Cardinals have taken over the franchise earlier this year, he said it's just amazing to see the transformation and what the ballpark looks like. It's slicing, and it's foul off the bat of John Jay, not by much. Cardinals, you may recall, right before the first pitch of the Major League season, they took over the Memphis franchise. And Craig Unger, who worked with us for a number of years in St. Louis, became the GM, and
The club has invested millions of dollars into the game day experience and trying to update the ballpark, the conditions, and to make it as fan friendly as they can. And they say it is just an unbelievable place for minor league baseball.
I love the city first and foremost. Tries to go through the back door. Not quite.
Sean Barber is our home plate umpire in a 2-2 pitch. Count runs full. Pierzynski on deck. Wrap up the road trip tomorrow. Head back home. First of 4 with the Chicago Cubs on Friday night. Good seats still available. Here's a 3-2. And the Cardinals have their first base runner of the night.
John Jay has been an on-base percentage machine. Look at the numbers in the month of August for John Jay. .520, better than Stanton, Ramos, Ramirez, Freeman, Ortiz.
It's pretty big names on that list.
And that's with a minimum of 75 plate appearances. But John Jay, that's getting hit by a pitch. That's walking. That's getting base hits. And he's really just been finding a way to get it done.
A shift for Pierzynski, who's very aggressive early in counts. That was the knock on him at times in Boston, which is a team that has tried to sign players that take a lot of pitches, work counts. And Pierzynski, with a guy throwing this hard, you wonder if that plays into his favor. He just punch it to the left side. Big open holes on that left side. Popped up left side and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Does seem like you're running a bit of a risk when you've got a pitcher throwing 96 and you play a left-hander extremely to pull, regardless of whether it's an older player like Pierzynski or not. I mean, you've got a guy that's just bringing it, flat out bringing it, and that's going to tend to cause later swings. We've seen that already from the Cardinals. So maybe a bit of an over adjustment here for the Pirates defensively.
The 1-1. Close, but not here yet. Yadier Molina, who's in the lineup tonight in Springfield. John Mozeliak, the Cardinals GM, is in Springfield tonight. Just a bit high.
He wanted it up and in. It was up and in. That is called fastball command.
Jay, the runner at first, and a 2-2. Pulled foul.
Well, just bringing up the name Yadier Molina is exciting to Cardinal fans, Dan. If you don't know if he's a few days away, a week away, what it might be. Going to start catching slowly, and Mike Matheny talking about him today. It's going to be, he thinks in Yadi's mind, a little bit more of a priority to see how many innings he can catch in the next few days, more so than how many at-bats he can take.
Quick move. So many issues with that when you're talking about a catcher coming back. Can he grip the baseball? Can he throw? Getting your timing back at the plate. On the outside corner, no argument from Pierzynski. 4 strikeouts for Garrett Cole through 2. Cardinals in against Lance Lynn, who enjoyed a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Our Toyota keys to the game.
Well, Lynn, as usual, means just stay right there, Lance Lynn. He's been consistent throughout the season. Don't change anything. Get into the 6th, 7th inning, a run or two at the max, and Lynn has just been so good at getting deep in the game. In fact, 8 out of 9 starts, he's given up 2 runs or less. And then the Bucs comebacks stop here. They have been a team that likes to come back. They've been good at it. They tried it last night. They came up a run short, but the Cardinals need to kind of stop that little trend that the Pirates have of scoring late. And that means an effective Cardinals bullpen.
And a strike delivered to Neil Walker, who's hitting .276. 17 homers, 56 driven in.
Dan, you mentioned the Memphis Redbirds a little bit in the last inning. They are 75 and 61, 14 games over 500, doing a great job, a game up in the PCL standings.
4 up and 4 down for Lynn. Remember last night it was Matt Adams hitting the wall, the fence, the side there by the fans, and he's got a fat lip here today. I'm not sure too many would want to fight Matt Adams. Pretty imposing figure.
But he's a gentle giant, though.
He is. He's a good guy. A lot of fun to be around.
Jim Hayes did tweet earlier today that the railing down the line that had to collide with Matt Adams is on the disabled list and is actually listed as day-to-day.
Deep right, Tavares looks up, and it's off the top of the wall. Gets away from Oscar, and Martin winds up at second base. Boy, that was close to being a home run. That wall out there in right is 21 feet high, in honor of Roberto Clemente, who wore number 21, the outstanding right fielder for so many years, and the Hall of Famer here in Pittsburgh.
And if Clemente had have worn the number 19, this is a home run. Barely below the top of the wall there. Good power the other way for Russell Martin.
With the fan reaching over, if that fan would have touched it, it would have been a double. That's something that has been more in play this year. The Jeffrey Mayer rule, if you will. I'm referring to postseason play back in 1996, Baltimore and the Yankees. Jeffrey Mayer, a kid at the time, 12 years old, reaching over and catching a home run that possibly would have been caught by Tony Tarasco at the time. There's a name from the past.
I'm not sure he didn't touch that.
May have. Pitch misses inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Pedro Alvarez, who homered here last night.
Just 6 for 27 in his career against Lance Lynn. First base is open, so I'm sure he's going to be very, very careful with Alvarez.
By the way, congratulations to Steve Turco. We see him all the time in spring training. Manager of the Gulf Coast League Cardinals. They clinched the GCL East Division with a walk-off win today.
Outstanding, Turk. First minor league shortstop.
Is that right?
Known him forever. Slick fielder, outstanding coach.
To left, Holiday under it, makes the catch. As you well know, Rick, the Cardinals are developing players, and we talk about that, but how do they get here, and how are they able to compete at this level? It comes from the right instruction, obviously great talent, but Mike Schilt, Pop Warner, Steve Turco, I mean, all these different guys that are part of this family in the Cardinals minor leagues that develop these players.
Yeah, they're in the development piece. There's also the scouting piece that finds these guys in the first place. You've got to find a guy that you think is talented enough to be able to get some development and get to the big leagues eventually, and that's really a gift to pick out a player's ability. I mean, does he have tools, and how will this translate at the professional level? And then you've got to have these coaches that know what they're doing to have them progress from level to level. And honestly, you mentioned Mike Schilt, who helped author the Cardinal Way. The Cardinal Way book is more about that than anything else. It's how do you get a guy from A ball to AA to AAA, and what are some of the basic fundamental things we do to make that happen.
Here's Starling Marte. 2 balls and no strikes. Marte has had some pretty good numbers against Lance Lynn, so with first base open, Clint Barmas on deck, the light hitting shortstop. May not be the worst thing to see him on first base. That is potentially what Lynn is doing here.
Talk about Garrett Cole having an explosive fastball. Lance Lynn has one of those too. Teams have a hard time picking up his fastball. He throws 2 different types, the one up in the zone and the one down in the zone.
And a walk. With 2 down, brings in Barmas. Said to Mike Schilt one day, I said, you know, you're kind of the modern day George Kissel to an extent, a guy that loves teaching the game at the minor league level. And he was taken back by that, and Tony La Russa called him that too. We were all having a conversation.
I could see how Mike may be embarrassed by that.
He was, and he said, boy, I should never be in the same conversation as a George Kissel, who's meant so much to this organization. I'm sure at some point will be inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Well, that's where the Cardinal Way really came from, is the idea of how do we get George Kissel's thoughts and teaching styles in some kind of a code of development that we can pass on so we don't lose it. That's really how that happened. So he interviewed a lot of people and talked to people about George's style, and it really is kind of meant to honor him in a lot of ways.
It sure is. Runners at first and second. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Barmas. Barmas was reunited with Clint Hurdle when Hurdle got the job in Pittsburgh. They were looking for a veteran to play short, looking for a good glove, and they got that in Barmas. His offense, he's at .239, no home runs, 4 RBIs in what has been an injury-plagued season for him.
Streaky hitter. You just hope you catch him at the right time instead of the wrong time.
And anytime I get to mention the Missouri Valley Conference, love doing that. St. Louis based, great baseball programs, and obviously very good basketball, which has held their postseason tournament in St. Louis for years. But Clint Barmas from Indiana State, he was a Sycamore of the MVC. 2-2.
Dan, I wouldn't say never, but I'm not a big fan of 2 things that happen in baseball, in my mind, too often. Walking guys with first base open and pitch outs. Most of the time, I'm not in favor of it. 9 out of 10. I think it puts pitchers in a hole and gets them thinking defensively. Both of those things. I like a more aggressive posture. So even with Marte first base open, get him out.
Here's a 3-2 pitch, 2 outs, runners at first and second. Foul back and a good cut.
And the reason I say that about the walks is you just never know what's going to happen with 2 outs. And the more base runners you put on base, the more you head towards a potential big inning. So I'd rather let them or make them earn it.
It's another 3-2, and he missed up and in.
So can you feel the offensive-minded approach turning a little more defensive for Lance Lynn in this inning? Maybe an overstatement, Dan, just to prove my point. But I think now you've got the pitcher up, who, by the way, swings the bat pretty well, in Garrett Cole, and you're facing a potential of him running into one and having a big inning.
Six for 27. Bases loaded. Good opportunity for Cole to help his cause. First overall pick back in 2011 was Garrett Cole. First pitch, a strike.
Cole hit over 200 a year ago, his first year in the big leagues. And the other issue that you deal with is the pitch count getting higher this inning.
Prior to Garrett Cole's loss last year in the Division Series Game 5, Pirates rookies were 6-0 in postseason play. One of your former teammates, Babe Adams, won all 3 starts against Ty Cobb and the Tigers back in 1909.
He had great stuff, too.
Really good stuff. The interesting guy in that conversation, Tim Wakefield. Remember, he was a Pittsburgh Pirate, the knuckleballer, who was a position player. He hooked up with the Necro brothers, and he became an instant sensation for the Pirates, and arguably their best pitcher by the end of that 92 season run. Won both of his starts against the Braves. Here's a 1-2. Back to Lynn, and tosses over to Adams for the out. So the Pirates strand the bases loaded, and there's no score after 2 on the Allegheny. Get 9 hits tonight to receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for just $3.99 tomorrow. So stop by any Krispy Kreme and take in that dozen deal. Garrett Cole finishing up his warm-up pitches as we start play here at the top of the 3rd. The Cardinals beginning play tonight, a game and a half out. Back in Milwaukee, they'll play later tonight in San Diego. Did you ever fiddle with a knuckleball?
I tried. Tried throwing a forkball, knuckleball. You know, when you get to the end, you try anything.
Sure.
You really do. I tried throwing sidearm.
That's how most knuckleballers get a knuckleball. They're at the end of their career and trying to figure out a way to stay in the game.
I tried throwing a ball that might have had a little bit of extra substance on it just to see what that looked like.
Oh.
Not in the game. Not in the game. Just playing catch with it.
Do I need to call Bud Selig on your record thing?
Playing
Major League
catch
Baseball?
And every time I threw one of those, it was straight as an arrow. So.
Only you, Rick, could put a substance on the ball and make it go straight. Up and in to Tavares.
That's exactly what Bob Force told me.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's another guy that I'm sure is headed to the Cardinals Hall of Fame someday.
Oh, he better believe it. I will vote for him next year.
Tavares on a 1-0 pitch pops it up. What's interesting about Oscar Tavares is Harrison puts it away. He has seen 64% fastballs since he came into the league. Now pitchers are making an adjustment back. If you're wondering, on average hitters are seeing about 53 to 54% fastballs, so he's well ahead of that major league average. But I think we've seen even on this trip more off speed pitches, but a guy like Cole throwing this hard, he's going to see the fastball.
Yeah, and he's trying to shorten his swing some. I still stand by my prediction that he's going to hit at least 300 on this road trip.
Last night it started at 500. Can I get 300? I'm an auctioneer.
I don't remember. That was yesterday. Didn't I say 300?
Yep.
He could still do it.
Absolutely. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Lynn, and that's a foul ball past Chris Maloney. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just looking at this lineup tonight for the Cardinals, 6 have been produced and drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals or signed. You take a look at homegrown products, and here's another one in Matt Carpenter and Garrett Cole at sharp. First time through this lineup with 5 strikeouts. Billikens night coming up. That's September 18th. Billikens night, September 18th. That's a theme ticket. Cardinals.com/theme.
Sharp looking
Cardinals cap.
It's a sharp looking cap, isn't it?
Done a very good job. Martin Coco and his staff and Joe Strom with the theme nights, trying to appeal to a wide variety of audiences.
We always talk about how important it is to connect at the ballpark. Often that's a family connecting, or you come into the ballpark with your friends. We know people come for bachelorette parties and all other kind of reasons, but I think the theme night is another way to be at the ballpark with people that you have something in common with and connect. And I think it's just been a great idea, great concept.
The 2-1 pitch to Carpenter. 2-2.
This guy's nasty, and he can locate too. He is throwing the corners. He's not just throwing the ball right down the middle. He is moving in and out, up and down at 96. So very much of a challenge for the Cardinal hitters, who've already struck out 5 times.
Outfield is deep for Carpenter, and a 2-2 pitch is on its way. Lined out to short to start the game. It's a great point you make, Rick. It's 96, but it's late movement that we're seeing, and he's been up, down, in, out, changing the eye level of the hitter.
If you ask a hitter velocity, movement, or location, which is the hardest for you to make adjustments to if the pitcher is nails on one of those 3, and they say it's location. That's the most important of the 3. If they locate well, they'll be tough to hit, period. Now the movement helps, velocity helps. I actually thought from the other side, the pitcher going in, that movement was more important, but most hitters would say no, it's location.
2-2 the count. Spoiled by Carpenter. Pitch number 51. And Carpenter drives it out to deep center field. McCutchen is back at the wall, leaps, and somehow made the play. What a catch by McCutchen, who bangs up against the wall, dealing with a sore issue on his side. And the Pirates holding their breath to make sure he's all right. My 5-hour energy, recognizing those who, despite their own needs, put others first. And right now at Jack in the Box, try Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. Tough over 2 for Matt Carpenter, who is lined out to short and hit one to the deepest part of the park, one of them. And robbed by McCutchen up against the wall. Nothing to show for it. Hitless in 2 at-bats tonight.
So you handle the frustration, you go back out and play defense and hope maybe you get a blue pit later on.
That's baseball.
It is.
Here's Josh Harrison. Every year, baseball turns out players that you just don't think will be superstars, all-stars, contributing players to what could be championship teams, and Josh Harrison has turned into that.
He's been very patient as a bench player for the Pirates.
Into shallow center, going out Wong, but Jay will come on and make the play.
And a guy that's been very versatile, and with Alvarez just struggling at third base, 25 errors for Alvarez at third base. They needed to have somebody to provide some stability, so Harrison the answer. By the way, exciting series. We've got a great game last night. We've got a good pitchers duel here tonight in game 2. And you had a chance to meet Gene Simmons last night. I mean, what more can you ask for here in Pittsburgh?
It was emotional.
For him and you.
Yes. Very emotional. I couldn't believe how tall he was.
You guys had a great conversation. We're talking about Gene Simmons from KISS, who was on the elevator with you, as I understand it.
That's right. Not quite like your Charlie Sheen meeting of a few years ago as Travis Snyder looks at a ball, but nonetheless, as important. KISS was playing here last night. They were celebrating Gene Simmons' birthday here in Pittsburgh. And I was told that they're playing in Cleveland tonight. I was just hanging out with the guys. It was no big deal.
And Gene Simmons said to you, because you were wearing your black Fox Sports Midwest shirt, he said, what are you, a CIA agent or FBI agent?
CIA, FBI. And I said, wait a minute. You're telling me that? I go, look at you. And he started laughing, and the band members loved it.
Oh, boy.
I'm not going to take that off of Gene Simmons. You kidding me? As Carpenter puts it away.
One of the joys of traveling.
I did say as he got off the elevator, I want to rock and roll all night. And he just shook his head. AT&T fan photo. Tweet us your photo using the hashtag STL fan photo. And we'll show one later in our telecast tonight. It's National Dog Day. What, you'd rather have Alpo? I mean, think about it. You got a Fry, or do you want Alpo?
Gene Simmons is not the only one that shakes his head at you.
Let's see how McCutchen looks in this at bat. He crashed up against the wall. And remember, he's coming back after injuring his left side from being hit by a pitch.
Asked Clint about McCutchen today, and he said he believes he may be the strongest player in the National League in terms of his hands and his wrist strength. He said it's just off the charts. When we look back at kind of the incident that caused all this, first it's Goldschmidt. He's out for the season. He gets hit. And then later on, it's McCutchen getting hit. Now, he didn't get hurt on this in terms of going on the disabled list. That happened a day or two later, but that certainly didn't help. And he was very angry to be a part of the retaliation.
Lance Lynn, 11 of 12 first pitch strikes.
So I asked Clint about McCutchen more, and he said, well, look, that is his greatest asset, is his hand strength. He's just incredibly strong. Everything else he's just very good at.
I was also on the elevator with a guy from Norway, but that has nothing to do with the story.
What?
I'm just shaking my head. What's your problem, Rick?
50th time this year.
McD app, and you will see Central Division rivals, the Pirates and the Brewers, for only $8. Download the McD app. Do it right now. You'll have a chance to see those clubs come through St. Louis for just $8. Andrew McCutchen, I don't know if you caught this, Rick, but he did not look comfortable in that at bat, did not look comfortable in that last swing, and I wonder if he re-injured himself.
Well, it was a half swing, certainly tentative at best, and Yeah, I wondered the same thing, and grimaced a bit, kind of went down on one knee after that last swing and was very slow to go back to center field. I'm sure Clint Hurdle and his staff kind of holding their breath on that. We talked about how important Garrett Cole is, but wow, is this guy important?
One ball and one strike on Colton Wong. It's a good fastball again. Boy, just explodes, doesn't it? You can really question over the last 10 to 15 years some of those first-round picks that the Pirates have had and really missed on too. The new system in baseball, the slot money, if you will, is beneficial to low market teams because they won't be held up. You wouldn't think players would hold up an organization, and it allows them at least to be in the general vicinity of where to sign them. Players know it, the organizations know it, and they did not miss out on Garrett Cole. I mean, this guy is the real deal. Popped up down the left field line, sinking, and Harrison makes the play.
This is the game we expected with Garrett Cole and Lance Lynn. Just one hit with one out here in the fourth inning. Both pitchers dominating fastballs, getting pop-ups, strikeouts, and there's a nice play by Harrison. As we mentioned last night, I think a lot of people wondered whether he should have been an all-star or not, but very few thinking that right now. Top 10 in the National League in batting. Been great with runners in scoring position. Nobody better in the National League. And his fielding's been good.
Garrett Cole, rare that you say a player's been drafted twice in the first round. Garrett Cole was drafted in the first round by the Yankees, did not sign. That was in 2008. Went on to UCLA, and there's a look at Harrison. And I actually did one of his games in the College World Series. Garrett Cole, and they had Trevor Bauer as well, the hard-throwing right-hander. Neil Walker makes the play. My partner for that series, the current manager of the Chicago White Sox, Robin Ventura.
Is that right?
Yeah. And at that time, he was thinking about getting into coaching, and he had been talked to about, he was, overtures about managing. Also worked with Joe Girardi next year. He was managing, and now I'm working with you. Next year you'll be.
No, I'm good.
You're here.
I'm good.
Okay, you're back.
I'm back. Girardi, a former Cardinal, for a very short time. Cardinal fans may not even know that because he was hurt essentially the whole year.
And he wanted to come to St. Louis because of Tony La Russa. Said he wanted to watch Tony, how he operated.
Well, being hurt, he got to watch more than he probably wanted to watch.
It does make sense that former catchers become managers. They're so involved in a game that is so slow moving, and every detail, they've got their finger on most of it. Cardinals are still searching for their first hit.
You didn't ask Ventura about charging Nolan Ryan.
No, sir.
Good call.
I was told not to bring that up. In a headlock, and Nolan Ryan pounding away on Robin Ventura. Famous shot with the blood on the jersey, the white uniform of the Rangers jersey of Nolan Ryan.
Probably 20 years older than Ventura at the time.
That's probably right. And a strikeout of Adams. Number 6 tonight for the right-hander Garrett Cole. played this Friday night against the Cubs. And fans ages 16 and older will take home that Cardinals beverage tumbler, courtesy of the Shane Company. Walker, Martin, and Alvarez. Walker with a ground out to second. We're locked up in a pitcher's duel here tonight. Just one hit. That was the double by Russell Martin off the top of the wall in right. Very nearly a home run.
Cardinals, by the way, 8-6 against the Pirates in 2014, and a chance to really push them back further in the Central Division race, and they really did that to the Cincinnati Reds. And you just wonder if maybe the Reds are already talking about next year. Not that they're mathematically eliminated, but that was a tough series when they got swept by St. Louis, and I just not sure they're going to be able to recover from that.
You know, you think about the Cardinals in 2011, 10.5 games out, and they are able to get into postseason play on the final day of the regular season thanks to Chris Carpenter down in Houston. And a walk, and Lynn didn't like that, his third walk issued tonight. So again, you're never eliminated until you're officially eliminated. But it seems like the Cardinals may have put that final nail in their coffin of 2014. So here is Martin, and Lynn would love the double play. That's a pitch that'll get it there.
Martin, a good choice for a hit and run as far as I'm concerned. Neil Walker runs fairly well, doesn't steal a lot of bases, but he's a smart player. Martin, a guy that handles the bat well.
Drops down a bunt. Right to Nick Leyva. Russell Martin, such an interesting guy. He was signed to play third base, and because of his athleticism, the Dodgers moved him behind the plate. He grew up in Paris and would come home to see his dad in Canada. Always had a love for the game of baseball. One of the ways that he keeps himself in shape is that he does martial arts for flexibility. If you're a catcher at this level in the heat of the summer, you better be in shape, and he is. It's a couple of pitches that Lynn has not gotten in this inning.
Barely off the outside corner. So you're telling me he's a guy that grew up in Paris, lived in Canada, martial arts, was an infielder, now he's a catcher. Just your classic typical baseball player.
That's how it's done.
They all have stories, don't they?
I bet if you went to every one of these guys around Major League Baseball, percentage would be, I bet, roughly 70 to 80% are playing a position that they did not anticipate playing at this level. That number may be high, but
oh, I bet you're right.
It's right around there. See if they start the runner here. That's Walker. Cardinals 4 double plays they turned last night.
One of them is strike him out, throw him out.
There he goes, and it's a base hit to right.
took Martin all the way to get to a 3-2 count to do what I thought he might do early in the count, and that's have the runner going and hit the ball the other way on the ground. He's very good with the bat. That sends Walker from first to third, and the Pirates threatening to be the first one on the scoreboard here in the fourth inning.
Alvarez is starting to heat it up in that home run department. Homered here last night. Runners at the corners.
3 starts at first base, 3 home runs.
And remember, he came into this season 66 home runs over the last 2 years. In first half of last season, he had 24 home runs. He's got 18 this year.
You mentioned maybe playing a position where he's not making as many errors. May help his swing, and that was a healthy one.
Oh, what a swing that was.
So how far would that have gone if he makes contact with this? Big swing, big fastball. Allegheny for sure.
One and two. And with that big swing, the power is there, but also a lot of strikeouts. And Lynn would love to strike out right here.
I tend to see a lot of good swings at low pitches from Alvarez. I'd have to stay up in the zone, try to blow one past him. Up and in.
On the outside corner, strikeout of Alvarez. Second strikeout for Lynn.
To me, that the Cardinals may have gotten a break there. I thought that pitch was outside. One more look at it, and it is off the plate. That's what Alvarez thought, but we've had a couple of pitches like that. A wide zone on a couple of occasions, and perhaps too close to take for Alvarez. Clint Hurdle, by the way, along with Mike Matheny, both dealing with injuries today. We noticed Clint Hurdle walking out to the mound yesterday, Dan, and he really was hobbling a bit.
Here's Marte.
He said he's been dealing with a hip issue all season long. He's going to get it taken care of at the end of the season, but really bothering him. He has an arthritic hip. Mike Matheny on the other side has been limping. He's still throwing batting practice, but he tore his plantar fascia, I guess is the right way to say it, the bottom of his foot. He's had plantar fasciitis, and he actually tore it recently, and he's been getting treatment for it, and he's in pain. So it's a grind for the managers and the players.
Marte is hit by the pitch, and the bases will be loaded. Is that necessarily the worst thing here with Marte, his numbers against Lynn and loading him up and then having a forced play everywhere with the 8th place hitter Vargas?
Well, I think it's a painful thing as far as Marte's concerned right now. Only John Jay has been hit more than Starling Marte this season. That's number 15 for him. And no, I don't think it's all bad from the Cardinals' point of view.
We're also dealing with Rick's bruised ego from number 17 on the golf course today. Been talking about this particular hole for the last year and a half, and it lived up to the billing. But you played a great round. Just 17 was disappointing for you.
Didn't get the hole-in-one I'd hoped for. Your 4-putt was fun to watch, though.
Ouch. The sad part, it's true. Fouled back by Clint Barmes. Walked his first time up.
Barmes' numbers not quite so good against Lynn, but he does have a home run and 6 hits. Marte had 6 hits as well, but a few less at bats.
Here's the 0-1. Ground ball slowly hit. Carpenter goes to second, to first, throws wide, and the run will score. Hit so slowly, nothing the Cardinals infield could do, and the Pirates have an early lead. It's 1-0.
Cardinals turned a phenomenal double play yesterday in game 1, and Colton Long tries to do it again with quick hands, gets off the base, quick throw, no chance really to get Barmas even if it was right on line.
Here's Garrett Cole, and he takes a healthy cut. Carpenter across the diamond. The Pirates pick up the first run in this game. Garrett Cole is not allowed to hit thus far. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Far as we move to the top of the 5th, Lance Lynn has given up 2, and it's a 1-0 Pittsburgh lead. Fox Sports Supports, proud to support Stand Up to Cancer's 4th annual star-studded telecast on September 5th on Fox Sports 2. Locally in St. Louis, cancer survivors and supporters will watch the telecast at Fox Sports Midwest Live. You can sign up now at American Cancer Society of Eastern Missouri Facebook page.
17 players in this game looking for their first hit. Russell Martin's 2 for 2. He has been all the offense so far on the hit side, but the walk to Neil Walker leading off that 4th inning, the real problem for Lance Lynn.
65 pitches, 41 have been strikes, and it's inside to Peralta. The only base runner for the Cardinals, John Jay. That walk in the 2nd. 6 strikeouts, no hits allowed. It's one of those things where the Cardinals, it benefited them, some hard hit balls for John Lackey last night, going against them here tonight. A year ago, you would say you don't want to get into the Pittsburgh bullpen. This season, a different story.
They have not been as effective as they were last year, and it's really 3 or 4 of their relievers. One's gone, their closer Grilly. Melanson, who did some closing a year ago, is their closer now. He has 22 saves, but Justin Wilson not as effective. Tony Watson, the other left-hander, still having a good season. He was an all-star in July.
The 2-2. Peralta sharply hit to Alvarez. Rick, I've been watching Andrew McCutchen. Cameras have not been able to show him, but he keeps fiddling with the jersey on the left side near the 22 in the front of the jersey, which is where he was hit, and he was hit on the back too, but that area is where it's really been affecting him. He's kind of leaning to that side. I just wonder if he's been affected in this game, crashing up against the wall, previous plate appearance. There's John Jay. Looks at strike one.
Be very interesting to watch him hit in the bottom of the 5th inning, just to see what kind of swing he has. And I noticed it as well. And there are times where he's been standing with his feet wide like that and just almost not even ready. I mean, that's how he's looked to me, just kind of trying to find a place and a way to stand where it doesn't hurt. And Pirates again can ill afford to lose him. He made a very nice play up against that center field wall. I would almost think with your feet that wide, how do you get a good jump on a ball? Again, I'm wondering if it's just comfortable for him to stand like that now. He's ready.
He just struck out 7.
A lot of those strikeouts have been on fastballs. And it's a little slider. Downward movement. Out of the zone. Jay couldn't hold up. Jay has hit in 15 of his last 16 games, so you strike out John Jay right now, you've got good stuff. Garrett Cole certainly has that. But the way the ball just explodes, not just the way the ball explodes, but the way he explodes in his motion, Dan, a very kind of easy, simple beginning to his delivery, and then he attacks the end of his motion and finishes very strong and hard to the plate. Easy there, and then boom. Generates a lot of arm speed. And for young pitchers who ask all the time about, how do I get arm speed? Well, or how do I get velocity? Really, well, you get velocity from arm speed. It's not just strength. It's your flexibility, which leads to good arm speed.
And Brzezinski hit by the pitch. Cole not happy about that. Brzezinski wears that armor on the right elbow. He had 2 strikes on the Cardinal catcher. Boy, AJ will get under your skin, huh?
Well, it's 0-2. He's going up and in, and Clint Hurdle and Garrett Cole both believe he did a little bit to initiate that contact on the hit by pitch, and it doesn't look like Clint's going to win that argument. Boy, the game has changed. When an 0-2 pitch at 95, you stick your elbow out and let it hit it.
Cardinals have stranded 1 tonight. That was John Jay after a 2-out walk in the 2nd. Brzezinski struck out. Taveras popped out his first time up. And he looks at ball 1.
I do think, and I'm, of course, certainly happy that A.J. Brzezinski is on first base, but I think if you're going to allow hitters to wear the protective gear on their elbows, on their feet, or on their knees, or wherever, on their shins, I think you have to go overboard to enforce the rule of getting out of the way. You can't have both. And I'm okay with them protecting an area that's sore, hitters, and you don't want guys to get hurt, especially with guys throwing harder now. But to allow a situation where a guy with some kind of protection, again, on his knee or on his elbow, that he can just allow a pitch to hit him and make it happen, just seems to be not the intent.
2 strikes on Taveras. On the flip side of that, And I agree with what you're saying. And the replay with Brzezinski looked like he's leaning in just a little bit. However,
again, I'm glad he's there.
Yeah, but 95, tough to get out of the way sometimes. It's very tough for an umpire to interpret what exactly just happened in the blink of an eye.
But again, if you're going to allow that kind of padding for a player that has it, to me, I think that's going to be part of the territory you're going to have to deal with.
Sure.
And I got that memo written for the new commissioner already. And here's the pitch location, just a little bit high. Again, hitting his spot, though. He's trying to go up and in, and has very good command of that fastball today.
The 2-2. Breaking pitch taken down and in, and now Brzezinski will be running on 3-2 with 2 outs from first. Outfield is deep, and the left fielder, which is Starling Marte, really close to the line out in deep left.
Been seeing what you're talking about, the late swings on the fastballs from Oscar Taveras over the last couple of weeks, and that has not been lost on the Pirates. I mean, that's as far the other way as you're going to see a left-hander play a left-handed batter. That's not a pitcher.
Three-2. Taveras off of Cole to the second baseman Walker, and still the no-hitter is intact. And Cole says no problem. TV today for only $12 for the remainder of the season. Visit MLB.tv today. Well, Taveras hits a rocket off of Cole that winds up in the glove of Walker, and Garrett Cole's reaction towards Taveras, towards the Cardinals bench. The heat of the moment here.
First the line drive. There's the play by Walker. So Walker ends the Cardinals inning, but Cole, his reaction as Walker makes that play, he dismisses the Cardinals. And I think that has something to do with Brzezinski, the batter before, getting hit by a pitch. I think he was a little agitated by that and kind of took it out on Taveras. Cole, you might remember, had a little bit of, well, let's just say he had some words to say for Carlos Gomez earlier this season. It ended up in a very interesting brawl on the field.
He's intense. There's no question about it as Harrison bunts foul. Last no-hitter thrown by the Pirates was a combined no-hitter. You may recall it was 1997. Francisco Cordova went 9 innings against Houston. And then Ricardo Rincon, they score this inning. So a combined 10-inning no-hitter back in 1997. Prior to that, John Candelaria, 1976. Deep left. Holiday back. Out of room. Home run.
Number 12 for Harrison. He almost got Lance Lynn earlier on a pitch that was in that he turns on. He turns on this one, and Matt Holliday can't come up with it. 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Here's Travis Snyder. Fly to left, popped out to third. Just the 8th home run allowed by Lynn this year. Popped up to the right side. Adams in foul territory. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 5th. What's on Tap is brought to you by Budweiser. Day baseball tomorrow, and we'll be on Fox Sports Midwest with Adam Wainwright and Jeff Locke. Waino's looking for win number 16. $11 in the morning, back home in St. Louis.
The chance to look at Andrew McCutchen and what kind of swing he may have the rest of this game and perhaps the rest of this series. In our game tomorrow afternoon. Again, that's a hard swing, but the ending of it seems to be a little bit tentative. I mean, the swing was not tentative, but you almost could see him feeling like he may have tweaked something even after that swing.
He's not the type of player to drop down a bunt, even though he's got great speed. He's batting third in this lineup. He can knock it out of the ballpark, but how many times do you see a guy dealing with some type of injury and all of a sudden drop down a bunt because they really can't swing the bat? Not the case here. Tavares, 2 down. But Rick, you've seen that all the time.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to think that there may be value to having an Andrew McCutchen bunting as opposed to somebody else playing center field. I'm not going to say he looks awful at the plate, but I think he's diminished a bit by that play he made in center field. Lance Lynn, by the way, has pitched well. You mentioned not very many home runs this year. He's only given up 3 hits here tonight. Lynn is set to hit first. In my mind, his pitch count is low enough. You just have to let him hit and let this be his ball game.
Here's Neil Walker, and he takes a pitch high. Walker has grounded out to second and walked and scored back in the 4th. Outfield is deep straight away. The 2-0 taken for a ball high and away. 3-0. Cardinals inside the division are 31-19. Pittsburgh 24-32. Fights it off down the left field line, and that ball is foul.
So the +12 that the Cardinals are in the Central matches their overall record of +12. High water mark for them. Cardinals with a chance of pushing that beyond that. And the Pirates not being able to win in the Central could be the thing they look back on at the end of the season and say, There's where we missed it. But they're not out of it yet. Obviously, a lot of baseball left. 32 games, including tonight's game for Mike Matheny's Cardinals.
Wild card has made this fun.
I agree.
3-2 pitch. The Cardinals could come back and win this game. That would put the Pirates 5.5 games back of St. Louis in the wild card. If not, you're 3.5. And the Pirates start 6 games out of the division. And there's a big difference. 3.5 out or being 6 out with just over 30 to go. It gives you hope. Makes it fun. Turns on the pitch and lines it foul. Reds will be here this weekend. The Cubs come to St. Louis. I'm sure there's a lot of folks at Ballpark Village tonight. That place will be rocking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. May think that that series is sold out this weekend. It is not. Close, but not sold out. Cardinals.com for tickets. That pitch up and a base hit into right. So a 2-out hit for Walker, and it brings in Martin. Hyatt Regency St. Louis at the Arch is offering an incredible Cardinals package this season. That includes overnight accommodations, tickets to a weekend home game, a personalized Louisville Slugger bat, and a $25 food and beverage credit to Brewhouse or Red Kitchen and Bar. Book today, 655-1234, or visit stlouisarch.hyatt.com. Martin 2 for 2. A double off the top of the wall. And also a base hit to right. Clint Hurdles started Neil Walker at first, opened up the hole on the right side, and Martin put it perfectly into right field. Fights it off. He's 3 for 3.
Jam shot, inside out swing. Martin having a night. Very important part of the game right now for Lance Lynn and the Cardinals, and Derek Lilliquist noticing this moment here. We've got just a 2-0 game, which is harmless enough. But you look at what Garrett Cole is doing and you say, well, we're not going to get very many more runs than that. So this inning cannot spiral negative right here. And Lance has to just kind of relax, get over that blue pit to right. Just one more out to go and find a way to finish off Pedro Alvarez.
Alvarez was called out on strikes back in the 4th. First pitch, strike 1. The 0-1. Now 0-2. All right, Alvarez, a guy that is a free swinger at times. Take me into the mind of Lance Lynn here.
Nothing over the middle of the plate. Try to make him chase. He does strike out. You know, that pitch up and in, he got him out down and away last time. But get it away if you go that way. Up and in or down and away off the plate. Try to get him to chase.
Popped him up. Brzezinski with room, and he's got it. Big out. It stays 2-0. Alvarez is stranded 3. % is something bothering him? We've got our answer now. McCutchen has been lifted in this game, and so Starling Marte shifts over to center field. They've got Tabata, who was just recalled from the minor leagues, in right, and shifting from right to left, Travis Snyder. So the story tonight is Garrett Cole throwing a no-hitter through 5. But of concern is Andrew McCutchen and his health. As he banged up against the wall, that was to rob Matt Carpenter back in the 3rd inning.
And after he did that, he leaned over a bit, and you just wondered whether or not he had maybe re-aggravated something. The swing you saw followed, and the grimace, and then the last at-bat, kind of a decent swing, but the finish didn't look right. Clint Hurdle obviously concerned about his center fielder. So who is the most likely Cardinal to get hit number 1 tonight? I would say Matt Carpenter.
He is lined out. Saw that play up against the wall. And I think also, to a certain extent of concern, the right foot of Garrett Cole. Remember, Oscar Taveras lined the ball off of Cole. Baseball winds up in the glove of the second baseman Walker to keep the no-hitter intact. That's his push-off foot. So far, no ill effects, but we shall see.
Cardinals have hit 3 balls hard today, really hard, and 2 of them by Carpenter.
Cole has walked 1. He has hit a man. The 1-2 pitch. Strikeout of Lynn. He has struck out 8. So it brings in Matt Carpenter, who's arguably had the best at bats here tonight, Rick.
Yeah, not all 0 for 2s are created equal. Here's the 1st inning, right to the shortstop Mercer. Now in the 3rd inning, it's a long fly ball to center field. We've seen this play a few times because we were checking out McCutchen, but when we look at it from Carpenter's point of view, it's a rough 0 for 2 so far.
One ball and no strikes. Outfield is straight away. Notice that Marte, while he does play deep, not quite as deep as Andrew McCutchen in center field. It just surprises me, as athletic as they are, that they play that deep. You see the gap in right center field. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1. They're calling it left leg discomfort. Left rib discomfort. Excuse me. Left rib discomfort. The 2-1 pitch.
I wouldn't want either one.
They could ill afford to lose him here in the final month. There is no question about that, how important he is to this team.
Think about throughout the course of a season how many players lose time or have issues with oblique, ribs, lower back. I mean, it's just so important, the core of a player. And yeah, there's arm injuries and there's leg injuries, but the twisting and turning and the torque that it takes to swing the bat and to throw a baseball, if that's off, it's hard to perform well.
Cole gets the call there on Carpenter to run it to 3-2, and here comes the Cardinals' first base hit. Hit down the left field line and out of play. I don't know if you caught what I said. Here comes the Cardinals' first base hit. Of course you did.
It didn't happen though, so
why not now?
I caught it, but the important thing is that Matt Carpenter catches it. And by the way, the pitch count elevating for Garrett Cole.
Just thinking that.
And what kind of situation might we be facing a couple of innings from now if the Cardinals do not have their first hit and he's up over 100?
Shallow left. Snyder calling off Harrison. Makes the catch. Johan Santana tossed a no-hitter against St. Louis. As you get a look at McCutchen, Goldschmidt, Molina, three of the biggest players in the National League. They finished in the top three of the MVP a year ago, all dealing with injuries. And remember Terry Collins internally battling that situation. Santana, you know, what could have, it felt like watching For Love of the Game. And you know what I'm talking about in that movie.
I do.
You know, here's his career, and he may only have one shot at what was going on that night because of the issues and the injuries that he had been dealing with. And Terry Collins, you can see he had tears in his eyes. It's gut-wrenching. And Santana, by the way, was never the same after that game.
And you wonder what Santana would say about it right now, and maybe more importantly 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Was it worth it? And of course it wasn't as simple as that anyway. Maybe he was done anyway. Can you clearly say that the extra 15-20 pitches are what really sidetracked his career? Maybe yes, maybe no.
I was saying that night they would have to tackle him from going out to the mound, and I get the same feeling here tonight with Garrett Cole, knowing, well, not only what's at stake, but you know, the importance of this game.
Well, Santana was just kind of flipping some balls up there, and in my mind, just throw batting practice there.
Yeah,
just stay out there until somebody gets a hit. But Cole's not that kind of guy.
2-2, and that's a fair ball. The Cardinals have their first hit off the sidewall, and Wong on his way to second base. Nice round of applause for the young right-hander. The other factor with Garrett Cole, too, is that the Pirates are banking on many more seasons from this right-hander, too.
Yeah, they're in a different stage in their career, and just realize how one swing of the bat makes this a different game, too. Past the diving Alvarez at first. Now Garrett Cole gets the nice round of applause. Okay, I almost did something pretty special here tonight, but now he's got the tying run at the plate in Matt Holliday.
That pitch at 97. They say that when Cole is right, and as the game goes along, you'll see the velocity actually increase. And that's what we're seeing here this evening. Pitch number 101. That pitch at 98.
And I'm sure that he remembers the slider he threw Matt Holliday to strike him out. And at bat number 1, I'd expect to see that here.
The BJC Healthcare difference maker, Matt Holliday. Inside. Justin Wilson getting loose in the pen for Pittsburgh. Garrett Cole. This may be his final inning of work. He's due up third for the Pirates. Strikeouts. Got him with the breaking ball. Your home for Cardinals coverage all season long. You can log on for game previews, recaps, videos, features, and the latest analysis from Stan McNeil. It's all at FoxSportsMidwest.com. Colt Wong, the only hit for the Cardinals tonight. Lance Lynn has only given up 5. It's Marte, Varmus, and then Cole Spot coming up.
Think how devastating this game would be for the Pirates if they lose this game late and lose their center fielder for some period of time.
Ooh. Now they did have the lefty Wilson throwing in the pen. He sits down. They are stretching out there. You wonder if they give Garrett Cole one more inning. He's got Adams, who he struck out twice, Peralta for 2, and then Jay, who has walked and also struck out, coming up. Looking ahead to the top of the 7th. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Marte has walked and was hit by a pitch. Little flare down the right field line. Taveras coming on. He won't get there. Throws behind the runner and nearly threw it away.
I like Taveras showing off his arm a bit. Marte had gotten hit by a pitch early in this game, and he almost gets hit by the right fielder, Oscar Taveras, who tried to throw behind him. He thought he might take a big lead. The pitcher, Lance Lynn, sneaking in behind. Taveras' arm better than I had heard it was. His defense about the same. And the hitting has a ways to go, but I think he'll get there.
So base hit by Marte, and now Clint Barmes, the 8th place hitter. Cole is on deck, but he's just sitting down on top of the dugout, so he is out there. Taking a little rest.
Not really a hot and humid night here in Pittsburgh. A little warmer perhaps than yesterday, but boy, I'm sure both clubs happy they're not playing in St. Louis the last couple of days.
Steamy hot back in the Midwest.
And looking ahead to that next homestand, you just wonder how much of a factor that's going to be really for both teams. Doubleheader on Saturday. No, there's a little bit of rain in the forecast as well, but you have to find a way to grind out some wins in that homestand.
No balls and 2 strikes, nobody out. Outfield is very shallow for Clint Barmes. Picked up an RBI back in the 4th. Fielder's choice, scoring Neil Walker. The other run, a Josh Harrison solo home run to left.
Pick him up.
Taken low.
I would guess Marte would go right now. He's been very successful in the stolen base department with 25 of them. He has gotten thrown out 8 times, but big lead there. You have a lead, why not?
Pulled foul.
I think when a team runs, when you have a lead, it forces some stress on the other team. I mean, you've got, I don't want to say nothing to lose, but you don't have as much to lose if you're trailing by 2. You know, at that point, you're just thankful to have a base runner and hoping to get a shot at maybe a home run to tie it. But you're up 2-0, run.
Especially with the speed. This individual at first base, and that's Marte. He was running on that pitch. And the factor of no Yadier Molina, A.J. Brzezinski behind the plate.
Make him make a play. Make him throw you out. I think baseball, to some degree, I think the new school understanding of timing and pitchers' times to home and catchers' times to second have been good. But I think it's paralyzed some running.
Adams over, and no collision with the wall this time.
You hear him adding the 3.1 and the 1.2 and the 4.3, and it takes him 4.2 to get there. Well, all that whatever point whatever doesn't matter. If you get a good jump, you're safe, and you can run a little bit. You can get a half-second different on the break. That makes you safe. Don't overthink it. Go.
Jay is there. So Garrett Cole will go out for one more inning.
So now you'll give up an out here by bunting with Garrett Cole to move him to second base because he's not attempted to steal yet.
Marte is the runner at first base. Showing bunt, and that's strike one. Oh, 22 of 27 first pitch strikes as he's reached the century mark. Total pitch count tonight. Lynn, the sacrifice is good to Adams. 1-3 on the play. Josh Harrison with a runner at second base. Harrison a solo home run in the fifth after trying to bunt his way on in that at bat. Bunted fouled and knocked it out of the park.
Harrison's had a really good approach on pitches on the inner half here tonight. First at bat, the home run in the fifth, pitches on the inside corner or off the plate in that he was looking for. Kind of opened up and dropped the head on. Maybe a guy you have to pitch away. They set up away and missed the outside corner. That's one of those in-game reactions that you make, Dan, when all of a sudden you see the way the guy is cheating, either inside or outside. Of course, he may adjust along with you. The home run he hit in the fifth inning made it 2-0. And there it is, middle in. Keeps his hands inside the ball. The ball ends up outside of the park.
One ball and one strike with 2 outs and a runner at second base. Outfield is straight away. Good cut, fouled back.
And again, working him outside.
Reminder, we're back at it tomorrow. We'll come your way at 11 with the pregame show. St. Louis time. Adam Wainwright coming off a loss. His 27th start of the season, 4th against Pittsburgh this year, will come tomorrow. We're getting late in the season. Here's a 1-2. And a strikeout. Third strikeout for Lance Lynn as we head to the 7th. Adams, Peralta, John Jay coming up. Cardinals just 1 hit. and Pittsburgh a 2-run lead. The AT&T fan photo. The Cardinals, the middle of their lineup coming up.
Cole just 8 pitches away from a career high, and when you have a good young pitcher, you're very conscious of pitch count because you're almost in uncharted territory. If you've had him in the minor leagues or you haven't had him that long, you're just not 100% sure how long a guy can go and what's maybe best for his health, so you tend to err on the cautious side with your young players.
A fastball taken away by Matt Adams. Garrett Cole has been sensational tonight. 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. As Gabby Sanchez comes in to replace Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez had a tough night at the plate. You get better defensively at first base with Sanchez. Late innings, a lead. Clint Hurdle will be doing this more times than not in the final month with Sanchez replacing Alvarez. However,
Cardinal fans are thrilled to have Alvarez out of this game.
You take that big bat out of the lineup. Here's a 1-1. That's ripped into right center field. Extra bases for Adams. Took a breaking ball and laced it into right center. And in safely at second base with a double. And once again, the Cardinals have the tying run coming to the plate. Both hits have been doubles tonight.
Adams crushes his ball into the right center field gap. His 29th double of the season. Cardinals have 4 players with a number of doubles, and Adams is one of them. Marte gets it in quickly. Carpenter has 31, Holiday 31, and Peralta leads the team with 33.
Tony Watson getting loose in the bullpen for Pittsburgh, and here's Johnny Peralta. Peralta, base hit out to left. Adams was frozen to make sure that that was not caught, and the Cardinals have their first 2 aboard. Jay peeks into the dugout just to make sure he's still going to hit, even with the lefty getting loose in the pen. Righties, lefties, right now with John Jay, it doesn't matter.
2 hits to start the inning for the Cardinals. Off the plate inside. Adams, you mentioned, not only freezing on the line drive, but going back a step or so just in case that ball was going to be caught. Easily makes it to third.
Last 7 games, Cardinals have been showing some fight. Late innings, 5-0 in scoring in the 7th inning or later. And that looks like it'll be it for Cole as Clint Hurdle, hobbling and all, walking out to the mound with that bad hip. Garrett Cole will get a huge ovation as we head to a break. foods. Probable starters the next 4 games in St. Louis and against St. Louis. Remember, Felix Doubront was picked up. You see him on the right portion of your screen. He was picked up from Boston, and the Cardinals will face Jeff Locke, the lefty, tomorrow. He has a record of 5-3. He'll go against Adam Wainwright. Tony Watson is our Chevy called to the pen.
Speaking of lefties, he's the best one they've got. 60 appearances for Watson, an all-star. And we talked about their bullpen not being as good as it was last year. He's one of the guys that's been better than a year ago. An ERA under 2. He's very, very tough, and John Jay will stay in as we thought he would against the left-hander Watson. Why not?
291 with runners in scoring position. Cole 108 pitches. The most he had thrown, his season high was 112 coming into this start tonight. The Cardinals have their best opportunity, and it's right here. Nobody out, runners at first and third, trailing 2-0. Jay had one of the big base hits last night, came off the bench and delivered with a single and an RBI. 400 against lefties this year for John Jay. You could see where this lefty comes from, how tough he can be against left-handed hitters.
Think fastball in, slider away. And that's the perfect complementary pitches. He pounded them in with fastballs off the plate. Then that sweeping slider, it looked like it was probably 2 feet outside from John Jay's point of view.
He taps it foul.
You can throw that fastball in the inner half moving in on a lefty, and then the slider moving away. You really widen the plate.
Here's a 1-2. A foul ball. And a fly ball lifted out to center. Marte plenty deep for Adams to score. Catch is made. Peralta back to the bag at first. St. Louis on the board, and it's 2-1.
That's a good at-bat for John Jay. He made something happen. He did not allow Watson to strike him out. You could almost see that coming with the stuff that Watson has, and he just was able to hang in there tough and get the ball into the outfield. Good situational hitting to put the Cardinals on the board.
A.J. Brzezinski has struck out looking. That was back of the second. Garrett Cole strikes out 9 tonight. A.J. was hit by a pitch back in the 5th. A 2-1 Pittsburgh lead. The check on Peralta. Not a threat to steal. Wilson this season with 3 wild pitches. And Watson, the other lefty, with none. One ball and 1 strike.
those two have been used interchangeably, and I think Wilson not having the kind of year that he had a year ago is a problem for Clint Hurdle, because which do you bring in first? You normally want to bring in Wilson first, but maybe not quite as comfortable with him. So you go to your all-star. You think this is a key inning. You've got to stop the rally right now. But that means you've got to find somebody to pitch the 8th and 9th too.
Check swing, and he waited. Brzezinski is saying, why not check with the third base umpire, and he strikes out number 2.
Brzezinski thinks he needed to get some help. But Sean Barber, our home plate umpire, believes that was enough from what he saw. Brzezinski does not agree.
Lefty's hitting 197 against his left-hander. Righty's 235. And now it's Oscar Taveras. Inside to Oscar. Was popped out to third. Also lined it off the right foot of Garrett Cole. Wound up in the glove of Walker for an out to keep the no-hitter alive back in the 5th.
He fouled that ball off his knee. Most guys foul it off their foot. There's Randall Grichuk, who was just recalled today to replace Shane Robinson. Got hurt here last night sliding into second base, in case you missed that. Somewhat of a shoulder separation for Shane Robinson. He's on the 15-day disabled list, and Grichuk, with his 25 home runs in the minor leagues, is back.
Inside. Outfield shading Taveras a bit to the opposite field. 2 balls and 1 strike. Chance for Taveras to be selective here. Last home run for Oscar was at San Diego.
Look fastball, just spit on the slider, look for it middle in, and let it rip.
And it's into center field, a base hit. Peralta around second base on his way to third.
We talked last night about cases where you have to know the game enough to know that an outfielder's not going to make a throw, and you have to be aggressive on the base pass, something the Cardinals have not done, I would say, extremely well this season. But Peralta understands on this base hit by Taveras, even though Marte's got a really good arm, Marte's not going to throw to third. He's not going to let a close play there end up with 2 runners in scoring position. He just won't even throw it, even if he thinks he can get him.
So Randall Grichuk telling Jim Hayes on the pregame show, your nerves, they become a little bit calmer with each appearance in the big leagues. You settle down. You try to relax. Well, he's back in the big leagues and a chance to do some damage here. The team high 25 home runs while at Memphis. That was 6th in the Pacific Coast League. And against lefties this season down in the minor leagues, he hit 325. What a chance here for Randall. Almost was hit by the pitch.
And this is why your bench players and your organizational players are important. You have a 2-1 game in the 7th inning, and you're playing a team that is a rival in your division. It's nearly September, and you've got Grichuk just up from the minor leagues in this key situation.
1 ball and 1 strike. Pass ball, wild pitch could tie this game up. A base hit. Home run puts the Cardinals on top. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs, runners at first and third. The next two, Randall Grichuk. In the air out to right center field. This ball may get down. He does deliver. Back in the big leagues, and this game is tied at 2-2. Nicely done, Randall Grichuk.
Grichuk had hit .325 in Memphis against left-handed pitching, but nobody in that league as good as Tony Watson. Big hit for Grichuk, takes it the other way. New ball game.
Boy, these Cardinals here in the last 2 weeks have really shown life late in games. A sign of a team that's starting to come on. A sign of a team that very well could be headed to postseason play.
Absolutely.
And now Matt Carpenter, hitless tonight. Runners at first and third. First pitch taken for a ball. Cardinals with Sam Freeman getting loose in the pen. Outstanding performance by Garrett Cole, and now the Cardinals have tied it up 2-2. And a very good performance on the other side by Lance Lynn again.
Kept pace with Garrett Cole. Off the hook. A hook he didn't really deserve to be on.
The 1-1. So where Carpenter can be so tough against any pitcher in the league. 2 strikes, tough to put away. Grinds through his at bats. The 1-2. Carpenter hits it sharply, and Walker a nice backhanded blow. St. Louis picks up 2, and it's time to stretch, and we've got a brand new game. Welcome back to the big leagues. Nicely done, Randall Grichuk. Our score is 2-2. Our Chevy called to the pen, and the 34th appearance for the lefty for the Cardinals. And it's a brand new game. Randal Grichuk with 2 outs and a base hit to tie the game up. I know we mentioned this earlier, but what a win this could be, and what a shot and a blow this could be to the Pirates if they cannot win this game, to fall further behind St. Louis, and the lingering effects of the hit by pitch on McCutchen from Arizona.
It could feel like 2 losses to them.
It's still a long ways to go. Bottom of the 7th, 2-2 game, and here's Travis Snider. And the first pitch popped up. Colton Wong, 1 pitch, 1 out. So in this 2-2 game, we turn to the Mazda game summary. Lance Lynn at 6 innings. Grichuk, the RBI single. Garrett Cole was tremendous tonight with 9 strikeouts, and Russell Martin 3 for 3 with a double. Close to a home run off the top of the wall and right. That's the Mazda game summary. To come back up and to contribute right away. Great feeling that must be right now for Grichuk. So in McCutchen's spot, here's Tabata. And he was thought to be one of the young stars of the future for the Pirates.
Broke on the scene, outstanding hitter, really kind of a multi-tool player as well. Not really much of a power guy, but a good defender, good arm, had a lot of tools, and then a lot of outfielders just kind of passed him by, including Polanco, who's not here. We haven't mentioned it tonight, Dan, but there, Oscar Taveras was sent back to AAA. He'll be back for September, but Gregory Polanco, no matter what rating system you use, he's a top 2 or 3 guy in the minor league systems, and going 1 for 30 with 11 strikeouts. Clint Hurdle didn't want him to be buried at this level, so he sent him out for some fine tuning, but he'll be back.
Here's Neil Walker, and quickly 2 outs. Walker, a switch hitter, and so far so good for Sam Freeman. When you think about Sam, this has been his bust out season on a personal level.
Much more command for Sam Freeman. I think he's dropped his arm angle just a little bit to create more movement, a little more sink. Not a lot, just a little.
And a fly ball lifted into right center. John Jay
made that look easy, didn't he?
Sure did. 5 pitches. We head to the 8th. Nice work by Sam Freeman. Tied up 2-2 on Fox Sports Midwest. Let's go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update. take Clayton Kershaw out of the equation, Pat, and it's Johnny Cueto and Adam Wainwright going for the Cy Young Award. It just seems to be around baseball a foregone conclusion that Kershaw is your winner. We still have a lot of baseball to go.
Well, he really overcame missing a lot of starts, which I think was going to hurt him at one point, because you thought, well, his raw numbers won't be as high, total wins, strikeouts, etc. But he's kind of caught everybody, even though he missed a number of starts early in the season. Kershaw really is a phenomenal pitcher, and I don't know if it's a foregone conclusion. I don't think it's even close to a conclusion, because you've got a lot more starts to make. So make them, see what happens. Let's vote then.
Starts with so much on the line, in particular when you think about Wainwright and Kershaw. It does not look like Cincinnati would head to postseason play, so bigger stage, bigger games potentially. The 1-1. Colton bounces it to second base. I want to revisit this look at Matt Holliday and our BJC Healthcare difference maker. Most game-winning RBIs by the Cardinals this season. And there is Matt Holliday at 18, then Adams, Carpenter, Peralta, and Jay. Matt Holliday with 18 of those, and he is our BJC Healthcare difference maker. Once again, thanks to BJC for the great sponsorship. Cardinals baseball throughout the year. And Holliday picks up a one-out base hit. And the difference maker brought to you by BJC, singles to left field.
Look at the swing of Matt Holliday. Timing mechanism with the front foot. Kind of the vicious finish of his swing. Very unlike a lot of other players' swings. He really kind of throws his hands into it, finishes high.
So there's Adams with 2 strikeouts and a double and a run scored. That was in the 7th. Six hits aside in this game. 2-2 our score. And Watson with pitch number 29. Nothing into the count on Matt Adams. Pitch number 30. And it's taken low. Big gap in left center field. They play Adams to pull. And he got it. Took some off it, and a strikeout for the lefty. There's 2 down, and the hitter will be Johnny Peralta, who is 1 for 3. Peralta with a single to left field back in the 7th inning. He is grounded out to first and struck out on a check swing. And once again, the outfield as deep as you can play with Snyder, Marte, and Tabata. The no doubles defense being shown here by Pittsburgh. And the 0-1. Now 0-2. The Pirates will have Martin Alvarez, or rather his spot. And Marte coming up. Be Gabby Sanchez in that spot. Here's the 0-2. Taken high. Get word that Pedro Alvarez was taken out of the game with left foot discomfort, and so that's Alvarez and McCutchen out of this game.
We thought it was just for defensive purposes at the time. Alvarez did try to make a diving play down the line on Colton Wong's ball, and you wonder if maybe something in that play is what caused it.
Great jump from first, but all for naught as Peralta strikes out. Bottom of the 8th rolls in when we come back. West is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Always working hard and doing a great job down in our truck of Fox Sports Midwest. Our director, Tom Mee, our producer is Brian McCann. Keith Overman with his assistant, Keith O'Brien, tonight. Along with Rick Horton, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And Seth Maness is in for the bottom of the 8th in our Chevy call to the pen. Quick work in the bottom of the 7th by Sam Freeman.
And talk about quick workers. Seth Maness is exactly that. 2.74 ERA for Seth. And he's pitched better, I think, as the season has progressed. Gotten back to getting the ground balls a little bit more with the sinkers and the changeups. And an important assignment for him in Game 2 of this 3-game series in Pittsburgh.
First pitch is taken for a ball. It's one of those cases where Brzezinski sets up a little bit outside. He's shaking his head right now with the home plate umpire. And the pitch was right over the middle of the plate.
You think he's saying, and by the way, I didn't swing earlier either?
Oh, I think they're having a little fun.
While we're talking about it.
Right. Let's just get this out.
Remember early? Yeah, remember earlier?
I've said it before. I say it again. He's been fun to have around.
I agree.
Russell Martin has doubled off the top of the wall in right. Single to right when Clint Hurdle started the runner from first. And picked up a little jam shot and a base hit to right. 3 hits. Here's a 1-2. And he got him. A strikeout for Manus.
Looks like Seth took a little bit off of this pitch. Change up grip. Takes a little off. Bottom drops out.
Next time you're looking to pick up great seats to the game, head to StubHub and you can earn 2% back in fan rewards on every purchase, including Cardinals tickets. Plus, with all-in pricing, no surprise fees at checkout. StubHub, it's your ticket to upgrades and more. Here's Gabby Sanchez, and again, the word that we get, left foot issue with Pedro Alvarez. So he's out of the lineup, questionable for tomorrow in Game 3. Sanchez, base hit in the left.
When you lose Alvarez and you lose McCutchen, you lose a little bit of that quick strike ability that the Pirates have. Both of them with great power. One swing of the bat, they change the game. Certainly other guys that can do that. This is a good hitting Pirate team. In fact, looking at it yesterday, I would say the Pirates, Milwaukee, and Colorado overall, look at their numbers, slugging percentage, power. They have the 3 best offenses in the National League. Colorado, Milwaukee, and now Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh especially putting up those numbers in the second half.
Marte has been on base 3 times, hit by pitch, a walk, and a single. When I watch Pittsburgh, I just look at a dangerous team because of their speed. As you mentioned, they have pop in their lineup. The bullpen, though, has not been the same. And to an extent, neither has the starting pitching from a year ago with Garrett Cole missing time.
He's missed time. Liriano has been up and down a little bit. And yeah, not the same pitching staff. Locke last year he was in a tree. He was just unbelievable. And he's going to be pitching Game 3 here tomorrow. And he's been okay this year, but even last year he was really good at the beginning.
A base hit to center field. Stopping at second, Sanchez. He represents the go-ahead run. Marte on base for the 4th time. And Clint Barmes will be the hitter. Our crowd tonight, 25,521. 25521.
You think about what's happened from Clint Hurdle's point of view, too, having to replace 2 of his players. It limits his bench a little bit as he's dealing with a close game late in the game. He does have Ike Davis from the left side, Jordy Mercer, who could play shortstop if you wanted to pinch hit for Barmes. And you also have Chris Stewart on their bench, but this is not really the same as having a Tabata and Sanchez. They're in the game right now.
What are these conversations like? Right now, what is Derek Lilliquist saying to a guy that knows he's got to get the ball down and try to get a double play?
Well, I think he's trying to get him past. And the first thing you always try to do is you get past the 2 hits he just gave up. So you get him thinking about something else. What are we going to do? You're always talking about the next. So that's number 1. Okay, what are we going to do right now? You say we, so Seth Maness doesn't believe it's all on him. So the we is those guys standing around in that circle who are going to catch the ball for him, and the guy that's going to put down the numbers. And I think that is it's a little thing, but it's an important thing for a pitcher to feel supported right now.
Strike to Barmes.
And to sense some confidence from your pitching coach. I think that's key too, Dan. The words, not as important as the confidence that you are expressing in Seth Maness' ability to get this done.
Fly ball into deep right center. Jay is on the move, and he's got it. And not tagging up Sanchez. He's still standing at second. Marte back to the bag at first.
Sanchez, I'm okay with him not tagging up because I think he thinks I've got to try to score if that ball gets down. And yes, it'd be better if he was on third than second. But if John Jay drops that ball and he's not able to score from second base, he'd have been kicking himself. So I think you do go halfway there. And Sanchez, I mean, especially when it's a 2-2 game in the 8th inning.
Mike Davis will be the pinch hitter.
And by the way, there are times where as a pitching coach I'd go out to a guy and instill that confidence in him and say, okay, Seth, or whoever, you're going to get this guy, this is how you're going to do it. You turn to walk off the mound and you mumble to yourself, he's got no chance. I mean, that's partly what you're thinking as a pitching coach, but you can't tell him that. And I'm not saying that about Seth now, but a pitching coach has to be a good salesman.
Can I disagree with you?
Of course you can.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. See, I think Sanchez has got to tag, because if that ball gets down, he probably scores anyway.
I don't think necessarily. If it's way over his head into the wall, yeah. But if it drops in the gap there and J.K. picks it up on one hop and gets it into the infield and he doesn't score, that could happen.
I mean, I could see both.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to disagree.
Of course you are.
I am?
Of course you are.
I didn't know I could do that. There's a 1-1. Good pitch on the outside corner. Davis now in the hole, 1-2. He had his season with the Mets.
One of the fun things about this game is a game of opinions, and you know, to say something is right. You know, was Earl Weaver right about the fact that you should never bunt? I don't know. That's what he thought. That's what he went with. Hall of Fame manager, but other Hall of Fame managers disagree with it.
See, but I like giving you trouble.
It's okay.
That's the underlying part of this. That's actually, it's the best part of
I can promise you that's not the first time it's ever happened to me.
That pitch in the dirt. 2-2. Davis has had words with the home plate umpire.
As we said, games of disagreements about strike zone. You know, you may have A.J. Pierzynski disagreeing right now with what Seth Maness wants to throw. He may put down sinker, and Maness may want to throw a changeup, and that's part of it.
In the air, deep right center, Ike Davis delivers off the bench. Long home run. Pirates on top. Looked to be a changeup, and he left it up.
It was up and it was a bit flat. It just sat there. It didn't have that downward movement that the one before had. And Ike Davis crushes this ball.
Harrison having words with the home plate umpire. Cardinals left Jay, Pierzynski, and Tavares due up. Looking ahead to the ninth. 5-2 Pittsburgh. As Harrison throws the bat at it and strikes out. Ike Davis off the bench delivers a 3-run homer. called to the pen. And he's 22 of 26 in save opportunities. As the Pirates went with Ike Davis, the Cardinals stayed with Manus. No lefty in the game, and Davis made him pay. This is the Nissan drive of the game, no doubt about it. The long home run hit by Ike Davis. John Jay will try to get it going. Cardinals down by 3 here in the ninth. The first pitch is taken for a strike. Davis, by the way, against left-handed pitching was 3 for 30. And a bouncer to the right side.
Maybe the decision there is, if you're Mike Matheny, do you want Davis to face Manus, or do you want Jordy Mercer to face your left-hander?
That is the decision.
Totally.
Here's A.J. Pierzynski. Pierzynski has been on base with a hit by pitch. And he looks at a ball low. The Cardinals do not come back in this game. You look ahead to game 3. And you wonder about the availability of McCutchen and Alvarez going against Adam Wainwright tomorrow.
Short turnaround, too. It's not as if it's going to be a long time for them to really even be able to assess them, to know what really is going on. And obviously you don't want to see anybody hurt. You hope it's just a precautionary thing for their own benefit. But be some break for the Cardinals if you see both McCutchen and Alvarez out of the lineup tomorrow against Wainwright.
3-0, and he walked him. Pierzynski just standing there at the plate. You know he's not swinging the bat. And you talked about it last night. As a pitcher, you know certain guys in certain situations are not swinging the bat, and you cannot throw a strike. We saw that last night with the pitcher at the plate.
And I can tell you the worst thing to tell a pitcher at that point is just throw strikes. It's almost like saying to a hitter, just don't strike out, just get a hit. What do you think he's trying to do? I mean, he knows it. You just can't do it. You squeeze the ball. It's like making a 2-foot putt that you think about too much.
And a ball to Taveras.
Again, Taveras has to be selective here.
See Martin trying to pull it back up.
Very close to being called a strike. It wasn't far off that bottom of the strike zone, but Taveras needs to be patient here.
1-1. And a grounder to the right side. And Taveras, he's out number 2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. Here's Descalso, and recently he's been one of the top pinch hitters for the club. 2 strikes away. The Budweiser player of the game, Ike Davis, his 3-run homer to break open a 2-2 game. Here's the 0-2. Pirates take game 2. Back-to-back nights, entertaining baseball.
Game came down to bullpens in the end, and the Cardinals bullpen falters in the 8th inning. Seth Maness gives up the long home run to Ike Davis. And the Pirates have evened the series here in Pittsburgh. And tomorrow, it'll be up to Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals to win this series.
Missouri Lottery postgame show comes your way next with Jim Edmonds and Pat Paris. 5-2 our final.